Okay? Starting off like I have to start off every day. Thank you, God. This one thing I gotta be thankful. It's bad me saying thank God when or thank you God when I'm not doing well. When I can feel my organs just like woof, fading away. I'm wasting away. I know things are bad, and death doesn't scare me. I'm not scared of death, and I will welcome it when it's time. But I just want to say what before that happened. I I felt a feeling of dignity, almost even almost like superior. Not because I'm better than them in the sense I know this better than them. No. I've been in rooms where people, none of them, none of them could live in logical world. They had to live in a deluded reality. Because when you become a target individual, you're surrounded by perps. Perps live a life of recreating reality. And the actual reality they're part of is the most disturbing that you can imagine. It's the kind of things that you hear, like when you read the Bible, like the evilness that they're part of is, I'm sure the karma that they're gonna have is gonna be magical. I'm sure what's waiting for them is gonna be magical. But one thing they can never do, through whatever they go through, because they will go through whatever. They're nothing. Especially some of the people doing that to me. Oh my gosh, some of them are literally on antidepressant as we speak, doing that to me. And I've met some of them where every day they have a schedule where they have to take their antidepressant or they could kill themselves. That's But when they do the things they do to me, you think they're like this fierce human being. So for me, I'm like, you've involved yourself in this. I don't care if a million people do the same thing as you do. You partake in this. You had a choice. You chose this route, the easy route. It's fun, okay. But the moment that things happen to you, if you start asking yourself, why is this happening to me? If you're asking yourself, God help. No. At that point, it's been revoked. You were God. You claim you to be God. And you're involved in something that's so disgusting. And they had to make themselves so retarded. That's what this feels biblical. In a spiritual way. Of course, I know what this is really about. I'm a test subject. I'm a guinea pig. I'm a human subject that the government is using this weapon system onto to develop it. They use these tactics of psyops and facades and creating false reality and distort reality as a way to distort reality, as a way to just confuse you as a target individual to think that it is something else. They come up with all this kind of fantasized reality. And after a while, it's just like, it's so destroyed. It's like, oh my gosh, you're such a clown. You're such a clown. Because you have people who involved in what you're going to find out they're involved in, and they're like, oh yeah, you're going to pay whatever. And you see my videos. They truly want me to look at them as these Avengers. This trash need to be avenged too. For what they involved, the things that they deserve to go through is, I'm not saying that because I'm not even going to do that. I'm not even capable, and I don't even want to be capable. It's going to come to one way or another. It's just, especially some of them. It's a matter of time. Some of these perps here involve themselves in that because it gives them this empowerment. I can feel when they talk to me. They're like children that they give a little bit of power and they like feel so special. It's like, oh, we are. It's our money. And they start talking like that via voice to school. So you see, they're just nothing. But in regard of being avenging, the reason why people are doing mass shootings and target individuals is because they want to avenge for what they've been going through. When I see this participant playing the Avengers, you know the level of anger I can have? The anger of knowing that this shit is involved in a program that they torture women and children. Oh, don't worry, I'm there for it. I'm here for them. You're gonna listen to the same testimonials of the torture. They will never escape into the fantasized reality they put together. They will never. I don't care. And they start some childlike people, and this childlike, actually, they need to be deprogrammed first. They talk to me via V2K, and you hear them like using their childish voice, and they really try to focus, like try to sound as innocent as they can. You know, they're already children, but they try to sound even more innocent. You're gonna burn. You burn. It's like trash. You're done. I was going to burn or not burn. I'm dying. It's like they lose. For me, they want to use this threat of or warnings of this theatric torture I'm going to experience. But at this point right now, in this non-burning stage I am in, I'm dying away. In this happy stage that I am in, this peak that I am on, I'm dying away. I understand that. So when they bring up what's going to happen to me, it's like they bring up these things to somebody who's already phasing away. So it loses the what they want out of it a little bit. Because if you're talking to somebody who's dying, it's like, hey, they're going to do this and die. It's going to be like, oh, God, no. But I'm dying. If you say the things they say to somebody who is living life and is like flourishing or is healthy, oh, then the fear is going to be immense. So they use that to try to disorient me, because they want me to see them, first of all, as these Avengers. They want to take away from what I call out what they do. Target and vigil. Do not get lost in the distortion of reality, in the deflections of reality, and the gaslighting. These clowns have become so retarded that they now think, oh, we are war. They're not war. Their task is to really do disorient you and distort reality, and continues to do that. It's their task. They can do that, then go grab a coffee, come back, and it's nothing. Go grab a bite, somebody. But for me, I will never let them escape. I know what they're part of and what their purpose is. The extra is going to be theatrical. But the purpose is that, unfortunately, the government is using us, target individual, as test subjects. They just implement these tactics onto us, and they contract these losers of human beings to do that. These governmental entities have nasty issues that I always bring up, because that's a blessing to know that it's so fair. And so it's like God has just like, hey, listen, this, whatever they tell you, try to project this reality. Look at reality. Look at this childlike person trying to make you accept this. Look at reality. It's there. It's in the books. Look it up. It's there. There's a bill S1413. Look it up. This trash, to call to that the things they say, it's just magical. And I don't care if they try to gaslight me. Like, I'm like, look at me. Do I look like the type that's gonna let you live your fantasy? Huh? Me? Oh no. I enjoy putting the reality into people's face who live in this fantasized reality. And I love when they say it's our reality. No, it's your delusionality. But don't worry, I got your reality. I got reality for you. Don't worry. You can keep the delusional aspects of life. I'm gonna bring I feel like a genius. I'm not the dumbest. I'm not the smartest. I'm maybe above average a little bit, but I'm more normal than I'm more. I don't think I'm a genius. But this, because everybody else become just mentally on spectrum and rationale of a freaking spectrum-like individual. You feel like a genius. No, they don't feel like a genius. They just dumb themselves down to cope with reality. But I don't mind. I'll be your genius. Matter of fact, I'll be your prophet. I will be their prophet. Because what I'm going to say is as obvious as it gets. But to them, because they're in their reality, it's going to sound like I'm a prophet. Because this is the kind of things they block out. I'm going to be a prophet. Meaning that this trash, living life in and out, daily, manipulating people in these disgusting ways, being involved in a program that torture even the most vulnerable babies, infants. I have a feeling that things are not going to be well for too long. Especially for me, when they have these children who are telling me that they're going to frame me. I believe it, very much so. Oh, I believe that right now what's happening, I'm not aware of when it's going to happen. They're having their children. I hope, what I hope is not the babies, because this is going to be sad for me. I mean, in a sense of poor kids, these babies don't. That's just destructive to them in other ways. But they're gonna have their kids. I think they've been saying 13 years old, 14 years old, 16, like some teenage kids, from young teenager to a little older teenage kids. I don't know, and they're gonna come up with some. And they're gonna come up with some stories, and you can hear the noise campaign because my brain is trying to create battles. It's all about my mind being manipulated. It's not even about reality. They're gonna use their children to frame me. They're gonna use their children to frame me, and they've been apparently having some kind of like interaction, and they love to say, "Oh, you raped me." I'm like, "Oh gosh, I could." I can already tell that a child who's growing up talking about you raped me just for the framing purpose of it, all the bright future. That's why I'm going to be a prophet to them, because this is obvious, it's easy call. Target individual. I have this interaction via V2K. The voice to call is the technology that they can pipe in voices in your head, and they can just start like saying the things. And that's why sometimes I get like excited, because while I'm talking I can hear them saying things to try to distort reality, right? And so they tell me how they're gonna frame me. They're gonna have their children, and their children's gonna say I raped them. That's how nasty it is. Imagine as a parent, you allowed your child to partake in something where your child, your own child, is gonna be used to say that, oh, this man raped me when he didn't. Is it crazy? Is it prophet of me to think that perhaps the future of this child at their age, because they grew up framing people, maybe a few years from now, life is not going to be good for them? Perhaps it's actually what's expected. It's expected, but I'm going to be a prophet for them. I'm going to say what's expected, and I'm going to be like this miraculous prophet. I don't even need to be there. I just love the fact I can be that to them. I'm being comical. I'm not a prophet. I just say the expectation, the reality of things that they're blocking out because they live in their reality. That's what they call the reality they in. I know. I don't need to be there to see it, but I know for sure kids that grew up talking about being frank. It's not something's not gonna be normal. Whenever it shows up, it should show off. But imagine a 14 or 13-year-old say, he raped me. Act accordingly, being told what to do, guided in this fashion. By 25, what do you think these people are going to be? They don't even think that far. And I love it, because I'm this prophet. But I put that in their faces, acknowledge it, because I know that they have to be this dumb. I enjoy the fact that I can put reality in their faces like that. I don't care about their children. I truly don't. I don't care. I'm not concerned. It says, oh, it's not good for the future of your child. I don't care. I'm not saying it like that. It's like, I know your child's going to be messed up, and you trash like that, and I'm going to be your prophet 2 days saying it before it happens. I'm not working this program where everything's orchestrated. I'm just saying my prophet power. But you'll see. In the meantime, don't think about it. Don't think about the future of your children. But my job is just to continuously put things in perspective, and never let this low life live a fantasized reality. I'm going to put reality in their faces in a way that's just magical, because I have this information. If every day I make the same video showing the same thing, it's okay. It's okay. I can do that a million times before I've completely wasted away, as I'm feeling my organs just breaking down. Let that be what's being repeated by somebody who's dying. Make it more prophet-like, make it more mistakeful when all I was repeating was the obvious. This trash and nasty. There was an ad of Verizon ad, which was like a mother doing something, and then her little kids, the little girls, just like immediate stimulation, the babies. They do the pedophilia type of torture. They've been doing that since August 19, 2019, which that they've become more important to other people too. August 19. The reality is this. and I can never forget the reality of what's happening to me. First, before I become a prophet, let's just put reality in perspective. What's happening to me is I'm being used for the development of this.
In 1965, DARPA launched Project Pandora, which studied the possibility of using microwave radiation to control human behavior. The project reportedly ended in 1969, but DARPA's investigation of how machines can affect and possibly control the brain continues to this day.
They've been working on this technology since the 60s, maybe even before. When I hear these losers of human beings try to still counter that, and that, the things they say is so stupid, because they talk about me. I ended in August 19, 2019, even before. But to try to counter the reality of what they're part of. Like, I'm still gonna be like, it's your money. Nothing to do with this governmental entity that's been working on this technology since the 60s. They are clowns. And when you have this kind of validation,
is Shelley Welsh telling the truth, or are her claims absurd? Just another conspiracy theory that's impossible to prove. Maybe. But not if you listen to Nick Begich.
I think there's some good evidence that Cheryl Welsh and many of the other people I've spoken with have been victimized by this electromagnetic mind control experiment. The weapons of this century aren't bombs and bullets and ordnance, but electromagnetic energy targeting the human being, which is the greatest revolution in military affairs since gunpowder.
Begich is an expert in government mind control. He is convinced the Pentagon has mastered a technology once thought to be science fiction. The ability to broadcast information directly into the human brain.
Our government began spending a lot of time looking at how to modify behaviors of human beings. Going back to the Korean War, in fact, in a publication, Low Intensity Conflict in Modern Technology, they have a chapter on electromagnetic weapon systems and being able to not just to debilitate someone, but actually even to stimulate certain activities within the brain. Signal that the brain applications. The other was the effect on human beings. If you can modulate a signal that the brain locks onto, recognizes, and begins to mirror or follow the frequency following response. The brain rhythms change, then it creates a chemical cascade within the brain and the emotions change. Now the resolution gets finer and finer and finer. It used to just be about triggering emotions. You can change people's brain chemistry pretty readily, change their emotional state pretty easily. But when you get down to getting your thoughts and being able to manipulate those, that requires a different kind of sophistication.
The way they manipulate the brain using this technology, once you're hooked to this device, your thought process are just turn into something else. They can do, and with time it gets worse. Like I said, August 19, 2019, that's 5 years ago. 5 years ago of continuously every day, every minute being manipulated. That's nasty. Of being changed this way. And it's funny, today they will talk about 5, and I was like, oh, it's because I was about to talk about 5 years. 5 years ago, that's when they did this thing. When I experienced this thing, oh wow, they tried to play with my brain. As you can see how hard it is to speak. But I have validation of this level.
Neural network, or EEG, and not only receive that and monitor it, but manipulate it and place it back into the victim to control their emotions or control their actions, or bodily functions for that matter. The other more recent term we have for that is EEG heterodyning, or EEG cloning. The difference between EEG heterodyning and EEG cloning would be, let's say, me remotely receiving your EEG and then duplicating it and putting that in another person to give them your same thoughts or feelings or physical reactions. EEG heterodyning would be receiving your EEG, manipulating it to put it back inside your head to give us a desired physical reaction or emotional reaction.
Understand? This is the technology. And the rewiring is crazy. And this is what they do.
Non-ionizing radiation for the use of cognitive control or behavior control. I submitted a paper to you, and there's another paper submitted to each member from another physician.
Can control them using neuro-linguistic programming techniques. You're rewiring their thought processes and brains. And so this gets into what's called offensive information warfare. And they used it, I believe, in the Gulf in Quality Lieutenants program. They also walk them to they want to see if they can hyper game theory. How do you, they want to see if they can manipulate people to do things that are irrational, but also walk them to their death. And so in Quality Lieutenants program, and they need to sample all cultures, language throughout the world to define the probability matrices of which tricks, techniques, deception works. So how do you control the brain? Most people don't believe that, but you can't.
You understand? So that's what this is all about. Now, in the next part, you're gonna hear the type of torture they use, the way they manipulate your brain, and then you're gonna hear how nasty this low life. You know, they were saying earlier, they have a way of trying to counter reality, right? This morning I heard somebody say, "Oh, she's 5 years old," and I'm thinking, okay, they're gonna frame me with somebody who's 5 years old. So nasty. I was like, oh gosh, that's so nasty. But all in reality, it's just they're trying to block out the fact that 5 years ago, that's when they started doing this rewiring of the brain. And then remember, when I was a child, they talk about, oh, remember what you did when you were a kid. And they usually use the 4. You're going to hear what they do to a 4-year-old, to a 5-year-old, to a 3-year-old, to a 7-year-old, to a 3-week-old in the next part.